Okay, this is the application for the U.S. passport. This is the application you're actually going to be filling out. It's most of the information we talked about before, some of the background information you're going to need, and some of the background information that's going to go with the things that coexist with what you're going to find out here inside of the DS11 form that you're going to need to correct your status. And so we're going to start from the top up here, Section A, eligibility to use this form. This form is used to apply for a U.S. passport book and or card in person at an acceptable facility, at passport agency, by appointment only, or U.S. embassy, consulate, or consular agency if abroad. The U.S. passport is a travel document attesting to one's identity and issued to U.S. citizens or non-citizen U.S. nationals. To be eligible to use this form, you must apply in person if at least one of the following is true. And I'm applying for my first U.S. passport, and you can read through those things yourself. If none of the above statements apply to you, then you may be eligible to apply using Form DS-82, DS-5504, depending on your circumstances. Visit travel.state.gov for more information. Notice to applicant under 16. Notice to applicant ages 16 and 17. Notice to applicants for no fee, regular service, official, or diplomatic passports. You may use this application if you meet all provisions listed. However, you must consult your sponsoring agency for instructions on proper routing procedures before forwarding this application. Your completed passport will be released to your sponsoring agency and forwarded to you. Section B, steps to apply for a U.S. passport. And it said, complete this form. Do not sign until requested to do so by the authorized agents. Attach the colored photocopy. 3, schedule appointment in person to visit our website or call in NPIC. See contact info on the top page. Arrive for appointment and present completed forms and attachments to the authorized agent who will administer the oath. Witnesses. You signing your form and collecting your passport fees. Track application status. Review your passport. Section C, how to complete the form. And they're going to go down through here, steps through here. So I'm going to say it now before I get to the forms. I'll probably repeat it as well. But as you go through on this form, everything you're going to do is going to be in all lowercase. Anywhere they ask about U.S. citizenship on here, yes or no, the answer is going to be no. Okay? Everything in here is written in all lowercase. Every letter, every block that you're going to fill in the information is going to be in all lowercase. And it has here one, name, last, first, middle, and that written in that format. Date of birth written in the format that it requires. The gender, the place of birth, social security number. And before, there was other teachings out here. The copper moonshine was one. A bunch more people piggybacked off of it. Even some of the information that we have here is coming from it as well as a collective of it. Just the filling out the part of the application part, and in all lower cases to be exact. But he's changed. I don't know how many other people have wise enough to change and know that you cannot not put your social security number on here and then tell these people you wasn't given one. There's a lot of stuff taught in this patriot movement beforehand, as I was saying, that a lot of stuff made you glorified over explainers in your administrative process and putting everyone on notice, and really giving people books and trying to reteach and to teach them on things when actually we wasn't operating out of the correct status. We wasn't doing things in the proper format, in the proper form, and handling things in the proper way, and we're getting a lot of resistance and a lot of kickback, and I was getting a lot of non-remedy. So understanding now the things that I know now about how to go about and what to do and how to handle these things to get the results I want is to do a lot of studying for yourself. Don't take a lot of study and get all the information you can get. Just be careful what information you take for truth before you check it and quality check it yourself and vamp it yourself and make sure that that's what it is and not because someone else said so. Go find it and put your eyes on it yourself. But put your social on there also so as they can identify you, um, or see that number and know that it belongs to a U.S. citizen, and that in the status correction process, this is what you're going to be correcting, that status. The email, the six, it's the email. 7, primary phone number. I would say use one that's not connected to your social. The mailing address, line 1 and 2, in care of for line 1, enter applicant's street or RFD number or PO box, or you the RFD stand for rural free delivery, or the PO box or the URB for line 2 if you do not live in the address listed in the field, but the name of the person who lives in that address has marked it in care of. And if the applicant is a minor child, you must include the in care of on top of if it's not you. Um, List of all other names you have used. Enter the legal names previously used, and all that stuff that goes with number 9. Down here, we're scrolling down to the U.S. Department of State application for U.S. passport, section D. Excuse me. Attachment to submit with form, and it talks about here application born in the United States, proof of U.S. citizenships, proof that you are correcting your status from a U.S. citizen, and what will help you do those things. The U.S. birth certificate that meets all the following requirements, issued by the city, county, or state of birth. List your full name, birth date, and birthplace. List your parents' full name. List date filed with the registered office must be within 1 year of birth. Show registered signatures and the seal of the issuing authority. Fulfill valid, undamaged U.S. passports may be expired. Counselor reported of birth abroad or certificate of birth abroad, certificates of naturalization or citizenship. Secondary documents may be submitted if the U.S. birth certificate was filed more than 1 year after your birth, or if no birth record exists. For no birth record on file, submit a registered letter to that effect. For both scenarios, submit a combination of the evidence listed below with your first and last name, birth date, and or birthplace, the seal or any other certificate of the office if customary, and the signatures of the issuing officer, a hospital birth record, an early baptism or circumcision certificate, earlier census. So there's a lot of things that you could do if you don't have those birth certificates and those things. And this movement too, a lot of people that are not going through correcting their status this way are going to have it, are going to be operating in a private manner. To whereas when they go into these things, they're going to have their things recorded in other ways outside of the birth certificate. They're going to have it recorded in the Bible. They're going to have it written and notarized, not notarized, but you can have it notarized, but written with 2 or more witnesses. You may have your birth date, the mother and your father's name in the Bible, the place of birth, the time of birth, and then you have the preacher to sign it, or whoever were there at the time as well. Some witnesses of and that could attest of you and your birth. Okay, so we're gonna go on down here to proof of identity. You can read over that, driver license and all those things, recent color, photocopies, all the things you're gonna need. Go through here and read this for yourself. Um, an application for a U.S. passport, for proof of parental relationships, all those things. So go through and read all this other stuff. I don't want to bore you with it, but in our private meeting, we'll go down through here and we break down certain things and pull out certain things that most time it may apply to certain ones, it may not apply to others, but it's too much for right now. And it goes in here how you can get your certified copy as well. Now we're down here at page 4 to the application for U.S. passport. And it tells you here off top, false statements made knowingly and willfully in a passport application, including affidavits or other documents submitted to support this application, are punishable by the fine and or imprisonment under U.S. law, including the provisions of 18 U.S.C. 101, 18 U.S.C. 1542, and or 18 U.S.C. 1621. Alteration or mutilation of a passport issued pursuant to this application is punishable by fine and or imprisonment under the provisions of 18 U.S.C. 1543. The use of a passport in violation of the restrictions contained herein or of passport regulations and is punishable by fine and or imprisonment under 18 U.S.C., etc., etc., etc. Failure to provide information requested on this form, including your social security number, may result in a significant procession delaying and or denial of your application. Now, another part here is this part here. It's very important to pay attention to this part, along with the understanding your status, understanding the nationalities, and understanding the part about being a national and having your status corrected as a national and doing it through this process. This is where it comes into play as well with the acts and conditions. If any of the below mentioned acts and conditions have been performed by or applied to the applicant, a supplementary explanatory statement under oath or affirmation by the applicant should be attached and made a part of this application. So you're going to make it a part of this application. What are you going to make a part of this application? A supplementary explanatory statement. And in that supplemental explanatory statement is where you're going to be tying a lot of things in together. I'm not going to give you too much information, but because I want to keep that private information, not put it in the public. But this is going to be a part of what you're going to have to help you delineate your nationality with your oath or your declaration that we talked about earlier with the INR non-certificate nationality forms. It says here, I have not been convicted of a federal or state drug offense or convicted of a statutory sex terrorism crime, and I am not the subject of an outstanding federal, state, or local warrant or of arrest for a felony, a criminal court order forbidding my departure from the United States, and United States or a subpoena received from the United States in a manner involving federal prosecution for or grand jury investigation of a felony. If you have done these things, they need to be put into the explanatory statement. If you have not done these things, they need to be put into the explanatory statement. Because if you have not put this into if you do not put this into a explanatory statement, you're going to be treated as if you are one of these and you have done all of these things. And these things here, most of the time we will read over and think that I have not done these things, so I won't need this supplementary statement, explanatory statement. And you won't, or if you had one, you wouldn't add these things into it. So as I guess I'm going to move forward past this, you're going to definitely need this inside of your explanatory statement, and you're going to need a supplementary explanatory statement. And for the reason of correcting your status, we're going to now go down here, briefly come here before I go back to filling out the application. I'm going to get it down here and swell it up. And it says, I declare under penalty of perjury all of the following. I am a citizen or non-citizen national of the United States and have not performed any of the acts listed under acts and conditions on page 4 of the instructions of this application unless a explanatory statement is attached. The statements made on the applications are true and correct. I have not knowingly and willfully made false statements or included false documents in support of this application. The photograph attached to this application is a genuine, correct photograph of me, and I have read and understand the warnings on page 4 of the instructions to the application form. And what we're reading at the beginning of page 4 was talking about lying and giving false information or doing whatever. You can be held to be fined or held in prison. But what you're going to be correcting is your nationality, and a part of that is what they used to teach before was to take out and line out certain parts of here in this oath. But to actually correct this oath, you're going to be correcting it through your explanatory statement. And you're definitely going to not be a U.S. citizen. You're definitely not going to be a non citizen national of the United States, and you have not performed any of the acts and conditions listed on page 4. And so that all needs to be stated in that explanatory statement. Or you're going to be signing this application and giving all this documentation, and you're going to tell them that, and you're going to be trying to correct your status as a national, but not a citizen of the United States, and that you are not a non-citizen national. You are not a U.S. citizen, but you're going to sign this and say, and that you declare under penalty of perjury all of the following: I am a citizen of the United States, or a non-citizen national of the United States. So the explanatory statement is a very important part, and for those reasons there, so as you can take care of this other presumption in here and correcting your status about your citizenship and your nationality. Okay, so as I talked about before, most people check off up here at the top of the document, the U.S. passport or U.S. passport card, check off both. Everything is written in lowercase and give them the information that they're asking about: your name, your first and your middle, date of birth in the format, the place of birth, your social security number, an email, and a primary contact number that is not attached to your social. Membership will help you get all the other informations and how to get the emails and the addresses and the phone numbers that may coexist with this application. Your mailing address, your rural free delivery address, care of uh, cities and states, and when you come down to the zip code is going to be all zeros. USA as well, when it does the country, USA. Go through and you list the names, fill all those out, fill out the first form down here where it stops and continue to page 2. But once you get finished with page 2, you come back up in here and fill out this same information, giving them the information that's required and that you're needing. You're not going to be able to sign this until you sign this in front of them. And by the time you sign this in front of them, you'll have all the documentation that comes with this package that we offer with the National Passport Status Correction to go along with this with your attachment. Okay, down here it has the name of the applicant, the date of birth, parent information, your mother or father last name. All, as I said before, everything is in lowercase, and give them the information. For the parents, the date of birth, the place of birth, the gender, and U.S. citizen. No. Same thing come up under it if it was your mother on the first, your father on the bottom, or if it was your father on the top and your mother on the bottom. It's going to be written and done in the same format. Come to the U.S. citizenship. No. Very important. And fill out all the other information that's needed in here. And the travel plans and the time and departure dates and all those things that'll help you get your passport that you're going to need as well. And then you go down to your permanent address, and you see they have the street, city, and the rural free, or your URB. All that goes here as well. And so you're going to finish filling the form out with the information that they're requesting. And down at the bottom, you don't do anything. This is where you get your certified copy back, authenticated copy at, and you're going to see which one of these boxes in the bottom they checked off. But as you get your status corrected and your passport application done, get all the right information in, it will be the first step in status correction and actually getting it done properly and getting it done and getting everyone put on notice through this one process here. So any more detail that will be given in the private membership. As I said, check the descriptions and in the comments for ways to contact and to join the Inner Circle Ministry YouTube channel here, and where um, we have these processes and other processes to help you actually conduct yourself in a private and to live a better, fruitful life.